Hey everybody, this is my first YouTube channel, so everybody keeps telling me on my Facebook that I need to do a YouTube channel, so I decided, well, hell, why not? So I'm doing it. I am a psychic medium. I have had this gift my entire life, and I'm also certified in this. So let me just kind of go back to where it all began. I was before my mom passed away. She told me that as a little boy, I would always be looking out the window. Even in my crib, something was always entertaining me. As far as I can remember, I'd always hear a man's voice, and it would say Paul, but it was a masculine voice. And I never responded to it because I knew if I responded to it, people would think I was crazy, even as a little boy. But I would look around, and I didn't see anybody, so I didn't tell anybody. My family, my whole life knew I had this gift, but I didn't tell them about the voice. So before my mom died, she told me, she goes, "Do you remember when you were little, when you would hear that voice?" And I said, "Mom, I've never told anybody that story." She goes, "I know, I'm your mom." She goes, "That's how I knew. You would look up from your sandbox and you would say, 'What?'" And so she knew. That voice carried with me until the age of, I think, 8 or 9 when I lived in Great Falls, Montana, and I'll explain why. But even after that, I kept seeing and hearing things I couldn't explain. To me, I always thought it was normal. But anyways, we'll go back to that voice. So if in Great Falls, Montana, there was like a duplex that was kind of across from the alley from there, and we lived in that duplex. My mom, she was a single mom, and as a little boy, in the summertime, I remember being out there just pulling the grass, waiting for my mom to show up. And it was summertime, and this white van pulls up, and the lady that looked at, rolled down her window. She was a white lady with big hair that was like frizzy or curly. And I remember looking at her, and then I looked at him, the driver, and he was a bald black guy. Well, she rolls down her window and she points at me and she goes, "That's him. He's the one." Well, I didn't think much of it because as a little boy, I'm a shy boy. So I'm thinking, well, maybe they're here to work on the cable or maybe they're painters. I don't know. So she goes up to the cement. She walks up to the cement sidewalk, opens up the fence, and I remember looking up at her. And as she's coming closer, her hand comes at me like this. And as it does, I'm looking up, and then that voice says, "Paul, run!" And I run now, and I ran. I ran in front of the house. Well, as a little curious boy, I look around the corner to find out where she's at, and I couldn't find her. And she's on the ground and she's cussing. So it's gonna get a PG-13 in here. So she said she's yelling at her boyfriend, at her husband, and she's saying, "Someone effing pushed me." And he goes, "What?" And she goes, "Somebody effing pushed me. I need help. What's going on?" And he goes, "Get in the effing van." So she gets in the van. I think she got all startled, and so they drove around that neighborhood like 3 or 4 times, maybe 5 times. But all I remember is going through the back, running behind the back, and then to the front. Every time I kept seeing them going around the block, so they never found me. So that voice saved my life, and I always knew for somewhere down the line that something was had a purpose for me. Um, I continue to have weird things happen to me. Like I said, I've seen angels, I've seen demons, I've seen shadow people, aliens, you name it. I've seen UFOs. I've seen so much weird things and things I can't that I've heard. I've just so many. I've got a lot of stories. But anyway, um, time just went on, and I think it was like 6 years ago. My family was on vacation. We were in Spokane. There was a an amusement park there that had a water park inside of it. I believe, I don't remember. I think it was Spokane, or it might have been in Idaho. But anyways, I remember at the time I got out of the water to get some sun to dry off, and when I did, that voice came back to me after all those years. It said, "Paul, how have you been?" And I remember, and I looked around, and there was no men. There was no men around. It was just women and kids screaming and laughing. My family was already gone. They went to get something to eat. So I knew something was about to happen. And things started happening for me that I can't explain. Things just started landing in my lap. So all of a sudden, this is where I'm at now, doing this full time. I do. I travel all around Montana, and I do medium event readings, and I do phone readings in the evenings, and I do radio readings on Mondays in my town, and people can listen to me on Alexa with that app on Hot 1019 on Mondays around 3:30 p.m. Mountain Time. So I mean, ever since then, this is what I do. My degree is in criminal justice. I own a house here. I mean, But it just seemed for some reason that Spirit had something else planned for me. I don't, and this is what it is. I can, so I am a trance medium. I'm also a mental medium, which means when I go into a partial trance, I'm able to pick up on what spirits look like, and I can give validation of what I'm seeing and what they're telling me. I'm getting images, and I'm delivering that message to the reader. Now, to me, it doesn't mean much to me, but to the reader, it means the world to them, because that's just validation that their loved one has crossed over to the other side, which is heaven. And with that validation of me describing to them what they look like, they know it's them. There's no way I could look that stuff up or know any way of who they're talking about. So I do free live readings on Sundays on my other page on Facebook. If you type in my psychic medium and then my name Paul, and then my last name is Cozino, Paul Cozino, and just all you have to do is like the page once, and then when I'm doing live on there to do free readings on Sundays, it'll show up live. It's my way of giving back to the community, and I do that every Sunday. Like I said, I do free readings on Mondays as well. So I mean, it's a gift, so I know I have to give that gift out as well. But it's also a job. So people will message me and they will schedule phone readings with me. So I'm booked right now all the way through January, I believe. So it's a good thing. So I'm not going to complain. So when I go into as a trance medium, what I do is you'll hear me scribbling, and when you hear me scribbling, this is called automatic writing. Now understand that an automatic writing, it has nothing to do with spirit writing. It just helps me to connect. That's all it is. People say, "What? Can you go back and read that?" And I'm like, I can't read that. It's just a way for me to connect when I'm with the other spirits on the other side. So that's basically how that works for me. I can do a reading just like this, but I prefer doing automatic writing, and that's just me. I just feel like for me, I get more out of a better, clearer reading than I would if I just did a reading like this. Now, as a psychic, I can connect with people's spirit guides and angels, and I don't do future readings. I don't do fortune telling. I just, when I connect with your spirit guide or angel, it just gets that person back on the right track of what they're doing or what they're not doing right, or giving them validation of what they already know. They just need somebody to tell them, to kick them in the butt a little bit. And that's just usually what I do. And, I love doing this kind of work. Yes, it is draining. The more I do this, the more draining it does get. People always ask me, when you first starting off these readings, when you're doing them live, towards the end of it, you look so drained. And I tell them, I go, I don't know. Some spirits take more out of me than others do. I can't explain that. It's just who they are. Maybe they were like that in person. I don't know. Some people don't believe in mediums. Some people, they do. I mean, I'll be real with you. I'm not asking anybody to believe anything that I'm telling them. If you have an open mind and you believe, that's fine. There are many things that come out when I do readings that, it's up to you. Everybody's got free will of what they want to believe and they don't want to believe. We all have different belief systems or different faiths and different religion and what we're taught. And I respect that. I'm never once telling you what I'm giving you is of the truth. So people take it what they want. I do have a lot of good reviews on my page on Psychic Medium Paul Cozino if you were interested in looking at that. Also have plenty of videos on there to see how I do readings. Now, when I say connect with spirit, and when I say the spirit sun is crossed over, when I say crossed over, that means they went into the light, which is heaven. I do not deal with earthbound spirits. I don't deal with low realm spirits or demons or anything weird like that. I don't even do seances. So that stuff is out the window for me. I don't mess with that stuff. I mean, if other mediums do, so be it. God bless them, but I don't do it. I consider myself a Christian. I believe in Jesus. I pray before a reading, and I always pray after reading. And that's just how I work. I'm not here to judge other people, but I do warn other people, if you're going to go to a reader and they don't pray, it's okay to ask them where they're getting their messages from. So, I mean, I feel like I'm always connected with God in my private life. I'm always praying in my head for people on the streets. I'm praying if I have a phone reading or a video message reading with somebody, I will pray for them if they're going through something. And I'm not going to let them just go like that. So I guess I do have a big heart. And I think that was part of who I am. People always say, you got those big puppy dog eyes. I hear that so much. They look like I'm always sad. I don't know. Maybe God gave me those to help me, so I can help other people. I don't know, but I I love helping people. This is my passion. I don't complain about it. If I complain about it, it's just because I got tired. I'm getting drained, and that's about it. And but this is something I love doing. I love delivering messages of healing. Now, earlier I was saying I don't talk to earthbound spirits, and I don't. The only time I will talk to an earthbound spirit is if they need to be crossed over into the light. And people who've been with me can testify there is something in the air that changes. That everything feels lighter. But that's the only time I'll communicate with a spirit that needs to cross over. But other than that, no. I'll go in. I've done house cleansings, and I'll teach people how to. I rather teach people how to house cleanse so they can teach their kids, so they won't be afraid of it. It's all about learning to not be afraid. Um, if you know what you're doing, it's okay to cleanse your house and just push that evil out or push that entity out. There's nothing wrong with that. You can't have fear. Fear just feeds that entity, may be feeding off that fear. I live in Montana. I live in a small town called Laurel, close to Billings, Montana. I was born and raised in Butte, Montana. Not too, like maybe 250 miles away, I think. I love Montana. The Montana people are the best. If you've ever been to Montana, you would understand that. If you haven't, come up here and visit. You'll see what I'm talking about. I am part Native American, which is Chippewa Cree, and I get that part from my mom. So one of my great grandfathers was Chief Big Bear, and then his son was Chief Little Bear. They were the last Canadian chiefs up north in Canada that got pushed down to Montana, and they were known as the Landless Indians for a while until this last year when the state finally recognized them. So they lived in a lot of poverty up in northern Great Falls and Rocky Boy. So Chief Rocky Boy and Chief Little Bear, which was one of my great grandfathers, helped build that reservation at that time when the white men were coming and taking over their land. So anyway, there's a movie out called Chief Big Bear, and I watched it because it was my great grandfather, of course. So I was curious to see what it's about. So it was interesting because Chief Big Bear would go up to up on the plains, and he would meditate and then talk to the Great Spirit, and then he would get like visions. And it's interesting because when I meditate, when I'm doing readings, I understand what he's doing. So right there, that's validation for me that, this is, I guarantee you, this is where I'm getting this from, is that side of the family. I'm also part Italian, I guess Sicilian, and people can see that with my eyes, and I'm also part English. So that's the three that are in me at this point. So I got, the English, the Native American, and the Sicilian in me, I believe, as far as I know. So when people who get readings for me or know me know that I'm real and upfront. I don't bullshit people. I'm not going to confuse people with weird words and go off talking about galaxy stuff and far out weird stuff that doesn't make any sense. Why I know people who do that, but I won't say anything. I know it confuses people, and I won't do that. If something doesn't make sense to you in a reading, and you'll say, Paul, that doesn't sound right, or Paul, I think you got somebody else. I will go back and I will make sure I fix that mistake, because I am human. I may be asking the question wrong, I may be hearing it wrong, or I may be going too fast than what Spirit's saying for me, and I'll own up to what my mistakes are. Okay. I just ask people just to be open, and the more open you are, the more real you are, the more it's going to be easier for you to get the reading. Now, when I connect with Spirit, they always come to me looking young. Nobody's ever elderly, sick, or handicapped, or have a disease. And all I can do is once I go through that meditation part, when I do the scribbling, then I start getting the visions. And then I'm seeing a loved one, and I'm describing to that person, your sister's here. She's got dark brown hair. She's wearing a pink blouse, and I'll go through and I just give all that validation to them. And sometimes I'll see it behind them, and I'll say, your sister liked gardening. I see a garden behind her. Or your dad liked to float the river. I see a river behind him. Sometimes I'll see a pet by them. I'll see them petting a cat. Sometimes I'll see a dog go by, or a little puppy sitting at their feet. It depends. But I don't connect with animals, but I do see them on the other side with their loved one, just so people will know. I guess I'm a little bit different than some mediums, and I guess I like that part. This is, I guess, my path and where I need to go. I'm not judging other mediums. I'm not judging other psychics, but this is how I work. And a lot of people are attracted to what I'm doing. I'm straightforward about a lot of things. I don't, like I said, I don't BS around stuff. Why would I? If I'm connecting with the spirit guide, they're going to be telling you how it is. Your loved ones are going to tell you how it is. That's how I'm going to tell you how it is. I don't beat around the bush. It's what is, what's going to come out. And it might sound harsh to me, but maybe it's something that you need to know at that point. Let's see what else about me, you guys. I'm just like an ordinary guy. I'm a single guy. I live in a small town, small house, 2 little dogs. I don't feel there's anything special about me. A lot of people put me on a pedestal, and that's fine. But I like being humble. I don't like the ego. I think if I did the ego part, it would really affect my reading. So the more humble I am, I think the more real my readings are going to be. And this is basically who I am. If you're interested, this is I'll try to come on here once a week and talk about something that has to do with spirituality on this page on YouTube. Maybe I'll do and see where it goes from there. And if I get over 1,000 readers, maybe I'll go do something different with that. I don't know. But people keep bugging me to go on Facebook, so here I am, and I'm glad to be on here. And I hope I get enough followers on here because it would be really important to me. But if not, I'll keep doing what I'm doing until God tells me He doesn't want me doing this anymore. And anyways, I hope this gives you some, informative of who I am and what I like to do. And you can always reach me again at Psychic Medium Paul Cozino, Cozino, on Facebook. And if you like the page once, and you'll always find me on there. If you need a video or a phone reading, you can reach me there. If you're in the Billings area, I do readings at Barzoun's Books on Thursdays from noon until 5. Thanks, you guys, for listening. I appreciate it.